Control of the mouth is one of the most underestimated forms of self-discipline, yet it has the power to shape reputations, relationships, and entire futures. Many problems in life do not begin with action, but with speech. A careless sentence, a harsh response, or an unnecessary opinion can undo years of hard work in seconds. Once words are spoken, they cannot be taken back. This is why learning when to speak, what to say, and when to remain silent is a skill that separates wise people from impulsive ones. Most people believe speaking more makes them look confident or intelligent, but the opposite is often true. Real confidence shows in restraint. When you pause before speaking, you give yourself time to think, to understand the situation, and to choose words that add value instead of damage. Silence, when used wisely, is not weakness. It is control. It prevents arguments from escalating and allows emotions to settle before they turn into regret. Anger is one of the biggest enemies of controlled speech. When emotions rise, logic drops. In those moments, the mouth becomes faster than the mind, and people say things they never truly mean. Many friendships, marriages, and careers have been damaged not because of intention, but because of words spoken in anger. Learning to stay quiet when emotions are high is not easy, but it is powerful. Walking away, taking a breath, or delaying a response can protect you from consequences that last far longer than the emotion itself. Controlled speech also reflects character. People trust those who speak with purpose and honesty, rather than those who talk endlessly or gossip about others. Words reveal values. When you refuse to insult, complain excessively, or spread negativity, you show strength and maturity. Over time, this builds respect. Others begin to see you as reliable, thoughtful, and composed. Opportunities often come to people who can be trusted with their words. Listening is another important part of controlling the mouth. Many people listen only to reply, not to understand. When you truly listen, you gain knowledge, insight, and perspective. You learn from others' experiences instead of repeating their mistakes. Listening also makes people feel valued, which strengthens relationships and reduces conflict. A person who listens more than they speak often has greater influence than someone who speaks the loudest. In professional life, controlled speech can determine success or failure. Speaking without thinking can cost promotions, jobs, and credibility. Complaining publicly, criticizing without care, or revealing private information can damage your reputation permanently. On the other hand, choosing respectful, clear, and positive communication opens doors. Leaders are not those who talk the most, but those who speak at the right time and with intention. Controlling the mouth does not mean suppressing truth or avoiding difficult conversations. It means delivering truth with wisdom. There is a difference between being honest and being hurtful. Words should be used to solve problems, not create them. When you choose calm, respectful language, even serious issues can be addressed without destruction. In the end, mastering your mouth is mastering yourself. It is daily discipline practiced in small moments. Each time you stop yourself from saying something harmful, you grow stronger. Each time you choose thoughtful words, you shape a better future. Control your mouth and you protect your peace, your relationships, and your progress. Your mood is one of the few things in life you truly have control over. Yet many people hand that power to circumstances, people, or momentary emotions. A bad morning, a harsh comment, or an unexpected problem can instantly change how someone behaves for the rest of the day. When mood is uncontrolled, it silently dictates decisions, reactions, and even long-term outcomes. Learning to manage your mood is not about pretending everything is fine, but about choosing how you respond regardless of what happens around you. Life is unpredictable. Challenges will appear without warning, plans will fail, and people will disappoint you. If your mood rises and falls with every external event, you will live in constant emotional chaos. A controlled mood creates stability. It allows you to think clearly under pressure instead of reacting impulsively. People who remain calm in difficult situations often gain respect not because they are emotionless, but because they are reliable when things go wrong. One of the biggest misunderstandings about mood control is the belief that strong people do not feel negative emotions. In reality, everyone feels anger, frustration, sadness, and fear. The difference lies in what they do with those emotions. Letting them control your behavior leads to regret. Choosing to pause, reflect, and respond with intention leads to growth. Mood control is not suppression, it is management. Your mood affects more than just your feelings. It influences how others experience you. A consistently negative or unstable mood pushes people away, while a balanced and positive presence attracts trust and cooperation. In families, friendships, and workplaces, emotional stability creates a sense of safety. People feel comfortable around those who do not explode over small issues or spread negativity during stressful times. Daily habits play a major role in mood control. Lack of sleep, poor diet, constant negativity, and overexposure to social media can drain emotional energy. When your body and mind are exhausted, your mood becomes fragile. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. Simple habits like rest, exercise, gratitude, and quiet reflection strengthen emotional resilience and make it easier to stay composed. Another key part of controlling your mood is understanding that not every thought deserves your attention. The mind often exaggerates problems and creates unnecessary worry. If you believe every negative thought, your mood will follow it into anxiety or anger. Learning to question those thoughts and redirect your focus can prevent emotional spirals. What you focus on grows, including your mood. People will test your emotional control. Some will provoke, criticize, or try to pull you into drama. When you allow others to control your mood, you give them power over you. Choosing calm responses instead of emotional reactions is a form of strength. It shows self-respect and maturity. Walking away from unnecessary conflict protects your energy and keeps your goals in focus. Mood control also has a direct impact on success. Clear thinking, consistency, and discipline are impossible when emotions constantly take over. Progress requires patience, especially during setbacks. Those who can stay steady during hard times are the ones who last long enough to succeed. In the end, your mood is a daily choice. You cannot control every situation, but you can control your response. When you master your mood, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. That control gives you peace, strength, and the ability to move forward no matter what life throws your way. Emotions are powerful, but they are also temporary. They rise quickly, peak, and then fade, often leaving behind consequences that last far longer than the feeling itself. Many of the biggest mistakes people make are not because they lacked intelligence or ability, but because they allowed a short moment of emotion to control a long-term decision. Learning to separate how you feel right now from what you choose to do next is one of the most important life skills you can develop. When emotions take over, logic steps aside. Anger demands immediate reaction. Excitement pushes you toward risk. Fear tells you to quit. Frustration tempts you to say or do something reckless just to feel relief. In those moments, the brain is focused on emotion, not outcomes. Decisions made in this state often feel justified in the moment, but regrettable later. That is why emotional awareness matters. You must learn to recognize when feelings are influencing your judgment. Pausing is the most effective tool against emotional decision-making. A pause creates space between the feeling and the action. It allows the emotion to settle and clarity to return. This pause does not have to be long. Sometimes it is a deep breath, a short walk, or delaying a response. That small break can prevent damage that would take years to repair. Self-control is not about never feeling emotional. It is about refusing to act while emotions are in control. Many relationships fail because of emotional decisions. Words spoken in anger cannot be unheard. Actions taken out of jealousy or pride can destroy trust instantly. In the heat of emotion, people choose to prove a point instead of protecting a relationship. Later, when emotions cool down, the cost becomes clear. Strong relationships are built by people who can hold back in emotional moments and choose understanding over reaction. Emotional decisions. Also affect careers and opportunities. Quitting impulsively, confronting authority without thought, or making financial choices based on excitement or fear can close doors permanently. Success requires patience and long-term thinking. Emotional discipline allows you to think beyond the moment and consider consequences. People who learn this skill are often seen as dependable and mature, which naturally attracts opportunities. It is important to understand that emotions are signals, not commands. They inform you about what you are experiencing, but they should not dictate your actions. Feeling angry might signal that a boundary was crossed. Feeling afraid might indicate risk. Feeling excited might show opportunity. The key is to acknowledge the emotion, then respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Ignoring emotions leads to suppression, but obeying them blindly leads to chaos. Training yourself to manage emotional decisions takes practice. It starts with self-awareness. Notice patterns. When do you react emotionally? What triggers strong feelings? Once you identify these patterns, you can prepare for them. Preparation turns emotional situations into manageable ones. Over time, what once caused impulsive reactions becomes a moment of calm control. Discipline in emotional moments builds confidence. When you know you can trust yourself to make wise decisions, even when emotions are high, fear decreases. You stop worrying about saying the wrong thing or making irreversible mistakes. This confidence grows into self-respect. You begin to see yourself as someone who thinks before acting, someone who values long-term peace over short-term release. In the end, emotions will always come and go. They are part of being human. But decisions shape your future. When you allow emotions to pass before you decide, you protect your goals, your relationships, and your integrity. Master. This balance is not easy, but it is powerful. Temporary feelings should never be allowed to control permanent outcomes. Money has a quiet but powerful influence over daily life. It affects choices, relationships, confidence, and freedom. Yet many people allow money to control them instead of learning how to control money. Financial stress is one of the most common sources of anxiety, not because people earn too little, but because they lack discipline and direction in how they manage what they have. Controlling money is not about being rich, it is about being intentional. One of the biggest mistakes people make with money is spending to impress others. The pressure to appear successful pushes many into debt they cannot afford. Expensive habits, unnecessary upgrades, and impulse purchases provide short-term satisfaction but long-term stress. Real financial control begins with understanding that approval is temporary, but debt is not. When you stop chasing appearance and start focusing on stability, your financial life begins to change. Money is a tool, not a reward. When used wisely, it creates security, options, and peace of mind. When misused, it becomes a source of constant worry. People who lack control over their money often live paycheck to paycheck, regardless of income level. Discipline, not income, is what separates financial peace from financial struggle. Knowing where your money goes is the first step toward control. Delayed gratification plays a major role in financial success. The ability to say no today in order to say yes tomorrow is rare, but powerful. Saving instead of spending, investing instead of consuming, and planning instead of reacting require patience. These choices are not always exciting, but they create freedom over time. Financial discipline is built through small, consistent decisions, not sudden wealth. Emotional spending is enough. Hidden danger. Stress, boredom, sadness, and excitement often push people to spend without thinking. In those moments, money becomes a way to escape feelings rather than a resource to be managed. Learning to recognize emotional triggers can prevent unnecessary spending. A pause before purchasing can protect you from regret and keep your goals on track. Controlling money also means preparing for the unexpected. Emergencies will happen. Without savings, even small problems can become financial disasters. Setting aside money for the future is not pessimistic, it is responsible. Preparation reduces fear and increases confidence. When you know you can handle setbacks, you stop panicking and start planning. Generosity also reflects financial control. Giving should come from strength, not pressure. When finances are managed well, generosity becomes a choice rather than a burden. This balance prevents resentment and guilt, allowing money to serve a meaningful purpose rather than becoming a source of conflict. Money habits often reflect mindset. People who believe money controls them often feel powerless. Those who see money as a tool feel responsible. Shifting this mindset changes behavior. Budgeting becomes empowering instead of restrictive. Saving becomes progress instead of sacrifice. Control brings clarity. In the end, controlling money is about freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from debt, and freedom to make choices based on values rather than pressure. When you master your money, it stops controlling your emotions and decisions. Instead, it supports your goals and strengthens your future. The mind is the most powerful tool you possess, yet it can also be your greatest obstacle if left untrained. Every action begins with a thought, and every habit is formed by repeated thinking. When the mind is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, progress becomes difficult. No matter how much talent or opportunity exists, controlling the mind does not mean eliminating negative thoughts completely. It means learning how to manage them so they do not control your behavior or limit your potential. Many people underestimate how much time they spend in their own thoughts. The internal conversation never stops. If that voice is constantly critical or fearful, it slowly shapes how you see yourself and the world. Over time, these thoughts become beliefs. Once beliefs are formed, they guide decisions automatically. This is why mental discipline matters. You may not control the first thought that enters your mind, but you do control which thoughts you allow to stay. Fear is one of the most common mental barriers. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of uncertainty often stop people before they even try. The mind imagines worst-case scenarios and presents them as reality. When fear is not questioned, it becomes convincing. Learning to challenge fearful thoughts weakens their power. Most fears are exaggerated and rarely play out as imagined. Courage begins with refusing to let fear make decisions for you. Focus is another essential part of mental control. A distracted mind struggles to achieve anything meaningful. Constant interruptions, comparisons, and information overload scatter attention and drain motivation. When the mind is unfocused, effort is wasted. Training your mind to focus on one task, one goal, or one step at a time increases effectiveness. Progress becomes clearer and confidence grows as results appear. The mind also feeds on what you expose it to. Negative environments, constant complaints, and unhealthy comparisons poison thinking. On the other hand, positive input strengthens mental resilience. What you read, watch, and listen to matters more than you realize. Surrounding yourself with constructive ideas and discipline, people shapes your mindset naturally. Over time, your thinking aligns with what you consistently consume. Self-doubt often appears during moments of challenge. This is normal. Growth is uncomfortable, and the mind resists change. When doubt appears, many people retreat. Others push forward despite uncertainty. The difference is mental strength. Reminding yourself of past progress, learning from mistakes, and maintaining perspective helps keep doubt in check. Confidence is built by action, not by waiting for perfect belief. Mental control also involves discipline during setbacks. Failure can either teach or defeat you, depending on how you think about it. A defeated mindset focuses on blame and shame. A disciplined mind looks for lessons and adjustments. This shift transforms obstacles into opportunities for improvement. Resilience is a mental habit built by choosing constructive thoughts even when circumstances are difficult. Your mind believes what you repeatedly tell it. If you constantly reinforce limits, the mind obeys. If you reinforce possibility and effort, the mind supports growth. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing thoughts that move you forward instead of holding you back. In the end, controlling your mind is an ongoing process. It requires awareness, discipline, and patience. When you master your thinking, you gain control over your actions, your emotions, and your direction in life. The mind, when trained, becomes a powerful ally rather than an internal enemy. Self-control is the quiet force behind every meaningful achievement. Talent, intelligence, and opportunity matter, but without discipline, they rarely lead to lasting success. Many people know what they should do, yet few consistently do it. The difference is not motivation alone, it is the ability to choose long-term benefit over short-term comfort. Self-control connects inch into action and turns potential into progress. Life constantly offers distractions and temptations. Comfort invites you to stay where you are. Impulses encourage shortcuts. Emotions push for immediate relief. Without self-control, these forces slowly pull you away from your goals. You may not notice it at first, but over time, the gap between where you are and where you want to be grows wider. Discipline closes that gap by guiding daily choices. Self-control is not about being harsh or denying.